So, when you think you're in bad shape, there's always somebody worse off than you. So I met a lady today at the storages, and she lost her place too. She's way older than me, and she has a little dog with her. She's like from Alabama, but was living in Panama, and she has a little suitcase, a rolling suitcase, and a little dog with her. She won't give up the dog, and so the shelters probably won't take her. And then she wants to rent a place with a little dog, which is really bad in the Fort Walton area especially, because they charge huge money to rent to you if you have an animal. And I mean, she's got a little dog, but it'll pass for most of the places around here. But she was talking about the law on having, what you call it, dogs. And I told her, I said, well, you need to pick the best. She's like, my dog is registered with the state and everything. And I said, well, you need to put that vest on there, because it's actually required in Florida that your dog has that vest to prove it is an assistance dog, whatever. And I ran into that in a Tom Thumb one night out at Eglin Air Force Base, where the guy was real kooky, and he was on the street, and he was claiming this nasty dog that he brought in was, what do they call it? A service dog. That's what they call it, service dog. And so the guy that was working there, he's been there for, I'm telling you, 100 years. And told him, I said, well, sir, you need to, have the service vest on the dog at all times if you want to bring it in places, and this store requires it. And so, we don't mind service animals, but you've got to, have the vest on the dog to prove it. And the guy got all foul with him, and it was pretty bad. And so when they called the police, they told him the same thing. If it's a registered service animal, you gotta have the vest on there so that you can do that. Now, there are some businesses that won't take service animals either, so to me, I think it's pretty foul. You bring your dog in a store and all that stuff. I was in the Tampa area in this very luxurious grocery store, and somebody had brought this big giant dog in and wouldn't hold the leash tight, and was going up and down aisles like scaring people off, and the dog took a big pooper right in the food aisle, and it was pretty unappealing. And it didn't have a service vest on either, but it was pretty unappealing when you're out shopping for food and somebody's big old moosey dog is like taking a big dookie right there. So anyway, so I told her, I said, well, you should put the service vest on. It belongs to the animal, and then you won't have a lot of problems, because there's a lot of places that will permit you to bring your service animal in, but you really need to have that vest on the animal. And she said, well, I can rent any place with a service animal, and they, by law, cannot charge me an extra fee. And I said, but they have to, because anytime somebody moves an animal into a rental property, they really need that fee because they end up having to rip the carpet out and pull the pad up, and they have to throw the pad away, put fresh pad in, or replace the carpet and the pad. I mean, even in a hotel. A friend of mine moved in a hotel. He's a lawyer. A friend of mine, Scott Hadeen, and they charged him, I think it was $400 for the 2 cats that he had, because he didn't want to go anywhere without those 2 cats. And so they charged him $400 on top of the fee for the rent for the room. The local rentals in the Fort Walton, Mariester area, I've looked at Heather Glen, and they make you pay some serious money. I think it's $400. You could look it up if I'm wrong, but I had looked at it this year, and for a lady that was trying to get a place with an animal, with a large dog, and I said, boy, it's real hard to get in with a large dog. Usually it's like, 30 pounds or smaller or something like that. And I think it was $400 or $500 on top of your cost to get in the unit for the animal in Heather Glen Apartments. So anyway, I told her, I said, if you can donate the animal or whatever to a shelter or something, that would probably do you better so you can have a place. She says, yeah, they probably won't let me have a place because I have the dog. And I said, well, it's cold. And I said, and it's better than sleeping in the bushes. And so she has this little tiny storage, and all that's in there is like a chair and a pile of clothing. That's it. And she goes in and out of the storage, and then naps for about an hour, and then comes out, and then has the dog there with her. And she just leaves the door open. It's really weird. And so they had a guy that was, I think, working night shifts, and I think he would come in there and sleep in the storage during the day, and somebody I'd talked to over there, because they absolutely will not put up with, boondocking in the storage. They said, well, we can't do anything, during the day shift. It's just they can't stay the night. So, I don't know. But I feel terrible because she has no place to go. She does have Social Security disability, but she doesn't have money. She says she has tons of money, but she doesn't have money. I referred her to the Economy Hotel, or the Hotel 6 in Destin. The Economy Hotel apparently is $60 or $61, she said. Which, that's really high. That hotel's usually the cheapest hotel in town. It's just a really, really old hotel. It's been there for a bazillion years, but it's always the most reasonable. If you don't mind an old hotel. But they have that Motel 6 over there in the Destin, and on the sign it's like 43 during the week and 49 on the weekends. And even the summer house over there is 60 something, which that's like a $250 hotel room normally, but it's winter rate, So she has no car. And she's just kind of walking. She has a big rolling bag of luggage and dog. So I don't know. But it's been a really bad cold this week too. And she was put out because people wanted to sell too, so, and it was pretty horrible. She didn't have time to really sell anything. And she claims that people wanted all her furniture and stuff for free, so she just busted it all up and threw it in the trash. Or something. Yeah, it's really sad. Because I told her, I said, there's a ton of shelters in the Fort Walton area. And they're great. Now, if you want the housing, you're not going to get in. The waiting list is huge long. But the shelters are available. There's actually more help out in Niceville and Valparaiso area as far as money and stuff to get you in a place to rent and all that. But Fort Walton's real good for shelters and meals, that kind of thing. So I said, yeah, you should really try the shelters, you know. She's like, I didn't know they had all that here. I'm like, sure. They absolutely do. And she said, well, they probably won't take a dog. I said, well, that's a possibility. I said, they do have requirements. You can't be like a drunk or doing drugs. You have to be in at a certain time every night. And if you miss a night, they just throw you away, you know. Because I know somebody recently this year that was staying there, and him and his girlfriend decided to run off with some friends for the night or weekend. When they went to go back to the shelter, they were like, bye-bye. Obviously, you have places to stay. You don't need us. So, they lost their spot. But, that's why these pro bums that stand on the corner, you know, and beg, will stay at a place like the Economy Hotel and stuff. And like 10 of them will all pitch in to get one room so they can sit around and party and dope up and everything. And then they go out the next day and they all go beg, and then they all do the same thing all over again, and they don't ever work. And some of those guys make $500 a day begging. And I told her, I said, you know, she said, well, I can't afford to go to that hotel for 60-something. And which, you know, that they used to give, you know, weekly rates and stuff like that. And it's not booked out. I'm driving by it right now. And I said, well, your best bet with a dog and a luggage is go out there on the street corner, you know, and beg, you know, make a little sign or whatever, beg. And they'll bring you meals and throw you cash. She said, oh, I would never do that. See, I told you, real people that are down and out are too embarrassed to go out and stand on that street corner and beg. They're not pro beggars. I should have gone by the gym, jumped in the shower real quick. I was working on my Amazon seller account. But anyway, yeah, I was doing that because I'm trying to get back up on it. I got a bunch of stock I need to list for the holidays. But anyway, so I was real down last night, very down last night. I went to the storage and I just want to stand there and cry, looking at all my pretty things in boxes and stuff. It's so horrible to have been done like this. For being a good tenant. Jeez. When you were like the ultimate tenant. I don't think I've treated a landlord better in my life out of the few landlords I've ever had, because I've mostly owned my own properties. And they get treated like this. Oh, I just missed my beverage. I need to turn around and go back over the bridge. Actually, well, I didn't want to. No, I'm going to go over here to the market and get my little beverage here. But yeah, so, when you think you're in bad shape, there's always people worse off than you. Because here's a lady that is literally sleeping right around that mall in the bushes or whatever. Yeah. And has this tiny closet-sized little storage that has nothing but like a chair and a pile of clothes in it. See? This is her and the dog in a rolling suitcase. It's really sad. Because it's been cold. It's truly been cold. Alright, how you guys doing? Are you going to be like on vacation? Or? And that sure looks like Reggie's van. He's not paying attention. I know that guy on the front end. Yeah. There's always going to be somebody worse off than you. So that kind of melted away some of the sadness that I had yesterday when I talked to this lady for several hours today at the story. She has no car. And she is wearing sandals. It has been terrible cold this week, okay? That's like going in the snow with freaking bare feet, you know? It's been bad cold in Florida this week. So, in the 30s. Yep. So I thought I'd share that with you. Because they always say there's always somebody worse off than you, and you go, yeah, right. But it's true. I met 2 this week that are in horrible shape, and one with a small child that's just heartbreaking, you know. So count your blessings, be grateful for what you do have, but strive to go forward in a positive effect and see what the world has to bring, because sometimes that's all you can do is just hope for the best and make an effort for the best and try to stay positive and move forward. You know what I mean? If you don't, and you surround yourself with negative people and negativity, you're just gonna, you know, drown in that. And it's, you know, too easy to do that during the holidays. It's a tough time when you're watching everybody else walk by with Christmas trees or the Christmas deals or stuff you'd like to buy for people just to say thank you for being wonderful, and you just can't do it, you know. But it's not all about the money anyway. It's really the thought that counts. It's what's up top there in the brain, and what's in that chest is the heart. You know what I mean? That's what's important. So, as a rule, I've always told you to love everybody, do something kind for a stranger, and too much of a good thing is wonderful, and we'll take a whole bunch of that. Alright, whatever you do, keep smiling. And keep rolling forward. Don't let anybody break your stride. I love you. If nobody else does, I love you. Have a really great evening.